Welcome to another Atchman Kings of War Battle Report. Salamanders versus the Kingdoms of Men. 2,000 points, and the scenario was push. This year, I'm likely only going to go to one tournament, and the reason why is I'm very busy. I'm trying to sell my x-ray company and trying to get retired so that I can go to more. So this is my Kingdoms of Men army. I don't have to do anything except to do some repairs to be able to field it. So it starts off with 3 regiments of pikemen, a horde of pikemen with a brew of strength, a horde of foot guard with 2-handed weapons, 2 regiments of fanatics, 3 generals on winged beast, 2 heroes on horse with indomitable will, blade of slashing, and mace of crushing, an ASB with loot for 13 drops and 28 unit strength. This is my version of Sam Nordberg's -28 list for at 2,000 points. I never could really get it down. My friend Sean helped me out with it to start to figure out, what the thing, how am I going to substitute what and still kind of get the same type of list. And I think this is pretty close to what I think is optimal for this particular army. This is the first draft of my friend John's army of Salamanders at 2,000 points. It starts off with 2 troops of Gecko warriors, 2 hordes of ceremonial guard, one with the potion of the caterpillar and one with staying stone, 2 hordes of tyrants, 2 Lachilodons, the always nasty rhino cavalry with the boots of striding, a lord on fire drake, and I didn't put it on here, but there's a troop of ancients in there to provide some inspiring to his army. So for deployment, I'm going to start on John's side this week. On his left flank was a horde of tyrants, and then in front of them was a Lachilodon acting as shooting/chaff, a lord on a fire drake, always a nasty dude, and then yet another horde of tyrants, and that was going against a pretty strong army on my side of the table as well. In the very middle, he deployed one of his hordes of ceremonial guard with a troop of Gheckos in front of them to act as chaff. So over on John's extreme right flank, he had a horde of ceremonial guard, and they were carrying one of his push tokens. Next to them were some ancients that were going to help with Inspire, and then his rhino cavalry ready to stomp down the middle. And then in front of them was a Lachilodon for missile fire and chaff, and then finally another troop of Gheckos to act as chaff. So over on my side of the table, I didn't label my guys, I apologize, but everything's pretty self-evident if you look at it. I put on the extreme edge of the table the General on Winged Beast, and the reason why is because his Lord on the Fire Drake couldn't fit between so he could charge me, and I was back like a quarter of an inch or so the only way he could do is hit the pikemen, which I thought was kind of cool. And then a regiment of pikemen, and then next to them is the hero on a horse. This one has the blade of slashing, and then my powerful horde of foot guard with 2-handed weapons, and they are holding one of the push tokens. And then to the left of them is yet another hero on horseback, and he has the mace of crushing. And lastly, in the woods, to give him a little bit of cover from the Lachilodon, is the one of the regiments of fanatics. And right between them is the ASB with loot, because he is going to help influence the middle of the army as well. At 2,300 points, this army fills the entire table. Well, at 2,000, it does not. So this is kind of my left flank / middle at the same time. Carrying one of the tokens is a horde of pikemen. They have the brew of strength. That has become a nasty unit. I've enjoyed using it. And just out of the picture to the right is the ASB with loot, so he can throw strength on them and get them up to crush 2, which is nasty. Then a regiment of pikemen is there to support them on their flank, and then a regiment of fanatics, and then lastly another regiment of pikemen. And across the table from these guys is the Rhino Cav, which is not a good place for it to be with 3 units of pikemen there. The General on Winged Beast, I was going to put him out on another flank, but then I realized there was no Inspire for the 3 units there on the left, so I just pulled him into the line until I see what John is going to do in his turn. Yes, this is the entire left flank. 1 General on Winged Beast. The little marker there is where he actually is. I couldn't get him to sit on top. There's like a rock on top of the hill, and I couldn't get him to perch there. So I just put a marker out there for him so that you know where he's at. But John's army didn't quite extend all the way to the other end of the table either, so I was hoping to use his speed to get around to into his flanks or rear with the general on wing beast, because he's really good at those jobs. And if you've ever read the Sam Nordberg Tactica, so to speak, the key part of the game is to try to get your generals on wing beasts behind or to the flank of their army. And that's just a core part of playing in that style of list. There was a lot of terrain on this table, but I've learned from watching a couple of Eric Trowbridge's battle reports. He tries to deploy important units down fast avenues of approach. And that's what I've decided to do this game. And you'll see that my pikemen are there. I can move my full 10 inches right off the bat with both of those significant units. Also allowed me to move a regiment of pikemen up there. And I shot both of the generals, not generals, but all of the heroes on horses forward, because I was either going to ground his dragon or attack his Lacheladon, or both, if the opportunity presented itself. And I also poised, and you'll see it on the next slide, I poised my other general on wing beast so that if he did charge with his dragon, I was going to be able to hit him with a general on wing beast, or even two if I got lucky. So I think this is a pretty good move to kind of jam him into the corner. One of my best combat units in this game is that horde of pikemen with the Brew of Strength. I moved them forward at max speed as far as they could, and then the other guys just kind of staggered because I realized that he couldn't see the units behind the woods there, because that was as far as they could move this turn. And the ASB with loot moved up next to the in the edge of the woods, along with the other regiment of fanatics. So I was in pretty good shape there. As you can see, the general on wing beast is already angling to try to get behind units or to threaten flanks this early in the game. And this is turn one, and I'm already putting a significant threat zone out in front of me. So in my turn, I moved my general on wing beast up to the wall. It was about 17, 18 inches there. And what I hoped John was going to do was move all the way forward so I could jump behind him on my on the second turn. But John's too smart for that. But anyway, that's like you said. You see that how you use the generals on wing beast to not only to threaten to kill things, but to keep them from moving to where they want to move. So the Salamanders kind of jiggled around and did some shooting. The Lord on Fire Drake flamed the hero on the left, and the Lacheladon actually charged the hero on the right, and did one wound and one, I think maybe two wounds to that hero on the right, and then the Lord on Fire Drake did one to that hero. But like I said, I had set it up so that as soon as you move forward, you're going to catch a general on wing beast somewhere. So so this was the best choice for John, was to sit there and just hold back and just let me piecemeal into him. Both units of Gheckos snuck forward to try to chaff me up a little bit. I had no shooting threat, so there's no big deal to them. And then the Rhino Cav actually kind of stayed still because, like I said, charging into pikemen is not a good idea for any kind of cavalry unit. John knows I'm not going to go into the front of a unit of ceremonial guard with the general on wing beast. What John did really well was kept me from being able to fly behind him over there or jump the line, and with the little tower in the way here, and so that saved any kind of flank maneuver I had. So this is a very good move on his part. I'm sure he would have liked to move forward, but by doing this right here, I couldn't land where I needed to land to cause the most trouble. So over here, I went ahead and charged my hero with the Mace of Crushing into his Lord on Fire Drake to keep him from flying this turn. The regiment of pikemen and the hero on a horse went ahead and charged into the Lacheladon to try to get him out of the way. And the general on wing beast just moved up to support and provide some inspire. But there was no way that the tyrants could get to my general on wing beast because of I was right at using the edge of the board as a pick. When I used to play Skaven in Warhammer, I always formed this formation, except that I always had like a gajillion lightning bolts and weapons teams there. But it's the circle of doom. You charge one thing and something's going to catch you in the flank. No matter which way you go, you're going to get hit. So there's only one way to break the circle, and that's to knock one of the ends off of it, and that's going to be hard to do. So in this turn, I went ahead and nimble moved the General on Wing Beast over so I could see right down my line. So no matter what charged me, they were going to catch a General on Wing Beast in the flank. I thought this was a good plan. Just want to point that out to you. But I mean, I had some really good units to hold. I kept the unit of Berserkers back about half an inch so that they would have to charge pikemen, which are not as good to charge. So I'm hoping that this will help me on this flank, because I mean, I think it's a nice deterrent anyway. So since I didn't kill the stupid Helidon despite 18 attacks, he was able to charge into my hero on a horse and could potentially overrun and attack again if he killed him. The Chelidon just went ahead and attacked the pikeman this turn. So John had a pretty good foil to what I thought was a great plan on my part, but John saw right through it, and now he's going to seriously threaten my other guys. Over in the exact middle, John's Gheckos went ahead and charged into my pikemen to occupy him this turn. His ceremonial guard straightened up and started moving forward, as did his ancients. The ceremonial guard unit in the middle starts angling toward where my foot guard are, and then he stuck his other little Gecko unit like an inch in front of my pikeman, which was a mistake, because I mean, I know he was trying to get me up on the hill so that he could charge me, but I was going to be able to charge. They were too close, so I was going to be able to charge them, kill them, and then back down behind the hill so that I could not be seen. You could see his ceremonial guard has straightened up and started moving toward the woods. I think the unit ceremonial guard that had the potion of the caterpillar was on the other side. It would have been better off on this side because he could have just strode right through those woods. Ancients move up to provide some support, and then the Chelidon wisely backed up in case I jumped behind his line so that he could get me with him. You could see here that the Salamanders are trying to solve the circle of death by attacking both ends, and that is the way to beat it. Going straight down the middle is just asking to die. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do about this occurrence. John rolled horribly with his tyrants. I mean horribly. Did 6 wounds to my hero, and the hero held, but he was wavered. So he should have died easily, and John should have been able to swing into that next fight as well. I mean, it should have been a tragic thing, but it did end up being tragic for him. The Chelidon does 1 point of damage to the pikeman there, and now my flank over here is at least temporarily safe. So since John didn't kill my hero on a horse, that's going to allow my General on Wing Beast to vault the line and now be looking at the flank of several of his units. That's been what I wanted to happen, was to draw him forward and then jump over him. The pikeman countercharged the Chelidon, and then to add insult to injury, the hero on a horse pops his indomitable will and countercharges. Okay, on this end of the circle of doom, the pikeman charged the Gheckos, killed them, and then rolled 1 inch back. And so now my unit's safe from being charged. I left my foot guard where they were at because I thought maybe he would want to charge his tyrants and his Lord on Fire Drake into him. I really thought I could hold out against that assault, since one of them's going to be hindered, but we'll have to see how that's going to go. So here I go ahead and charge the Fanatic Regiment into the flank of the Gheckos, just to make sure that they're dead. Plus, I'm trying to kind of draw him forward into my pikes with his unit of Rhino Cav. The General on Wing Beast just nimble moves a little bit to get out of the line of sight of the Ceremonial Guard and any of the other units. I was really in a good spot because I could see some targets, and I really think he probably could see, and if he wanted to charge him, to charge the General on Wing Beast with his Rhino Cav and maybe kill it. So we'll just have to see what choice he makes. This is probably the most important turn in the entire battle. I didn't think he would risk charging into my foot guard. Foot Guard have a really high leadership, but on the other hand, he's got, 45 attacks? I know some of them are hindered, but that's a lot of damn swings to get in there. So that's not good. And then, so then he, I guess he countercharged my unit of my hero on a horse, and you'd seen I did kill his Laquilodon the turn before, and now I angled towards the Salamanders. I know I'll die. I mean, they just have too many swings, but at least I'll make them have to deal with that unit. You can see here he just kept his line steady. Started to worry about him leaving, and I don't even think I paid attention to it. I may have been able, with a wild charge at D3, get into the flank of his other unit of ceremonial guard there. So I don't know if he corrected this the rest of the turn or not, but everything else of his just moved forward and support, and his ceremonial guard is trying to pinch the end of my line now. I know I just heard a great cheer of all the Salamander players in the world as he ruthlessly slaughtered my intact unit of Foot Guard and gets one of my push tokens. That is not going to be good for me. His tyrants went ahead and killed my hero there, and now turned to face the unit of pikemen, and his Lord on Firedrake turns to face the rear of the pikemen. This is not good at all. Yeah, it's total disaster. He breaks the end of the circle over here, the circle of doom, and now he is in a great position to roll me up. With the Foot Guard gone, it left me a ability to charge with my unit of Fanatics and one of my generals on Winged Beast, which is one of the best ways to use them is to help you finish off a unit. I believe my ASB with loot did cast Bane Chant on the Fanatics this turn to help me take down those tyrants. So, rocketing in from the side, one of my generals on Winged Beast charged his ceremonial guard in the flank, and this is really meant to be a spoiling attack to see if he would turn, but then the unit of pikemen with the Brew of Strength comes barreling over the hill, and I can't make the charge because I can't see him, but I can stop an inch away. So that's what I did there. In the very middle, I moved up my unit of pikemen, and they snagged that middle token because I am down in tokens at this point because of the his Lord on Fire Drake goes ahead and grabs one. I take a chance and charge my Fanatics and a General on Winged Beast into the Rhino Cav. I know most Cav units tend to have fairly low morale, and I was hoping, to get them up there and maybe take them out. The pikemen make a hindered charge into his Ancients. That's just to hold them up and keep them from flanking into my other fight. The combined charge of the Fanatics and the General on Winged Beast destroyed the unit of Tyrants, and now they're going to threaten his Lord on Fire Drake. I just turned the General on Winged Beast around to support the other fight, and then the Fanatics just moved forward as close as they could to the Lord on Fire Drake with the overrun. Here's a better picture of the Ceremonial Guard melee. I went ahead and, like I said, I charged the General on Winged Beast into that formation, knowing full well that they could turn and slaughter him. But that was the chance I was willing to take, because if he turns, then maybe I could get another General on Winged Beast or something else in there to get rid of him. In the Salamander turn, the Ceremonial Guard slam into the flank of my unit of pikemen. I'm really just trying to seal that off so that I could maybe kill the Rhino Riders before, I then turn around to maybe hold off that unit. So this was not going to work out well for me. I mean, that's 60 swings in my flank. Probably not good. His Fire Drake just turned and took off running toward away from the away from my lines. But he has a token, so of course he's not nimble or anything. He's just he was just able. I wasn't engaged with him. He was just able to turn and move away 10 inches. The Tyrants go slamming into the unit of pikemen over there, And you can see the rest of my stuff is kind of where it was before. So with the unit in front of him, of course, they're not engaged, and then the general on wing beast in their flank, they opted to turn and fight the general on wing beast because they had the best chance of taking him out. They do 7 points of damage, which is fairly decent, but failed to kill him and failed to waver him. So he is going to be there next turn, and now the pike unit is going to be able to hit him in the flank. The tyrants easily destroy the pikemen, but it end up staying in place. And the reason why is if I start moving back toward his Lord on Fire Drake, they'll be able to flank charge me, whichever unit goes after him. So in my turn, I do flank charge his ceremonial guard with my pikemen. I also manage to get Bane Chant off on them as well. So between the General on Wing Beast and the damage caused the turn before, and then this fresh damage, I was easily able to take this unit off. Here I nimble moved my General on Wing Beast back to try to catch up to the other unit, to that Lord on Fire Drake, because he has a token, and that's the reason why I need to get him. Not so much I just need to go after him because I'm mean. My unit of pikemen took their token and moved forward onto the other side of the table. You can see that his ancients and the ceremonial guard went ahead and destroyed that unit of pikemen there. Now they're getting ready to flank into my General on Wing Beast and the fanatics. I just did not cause enough. I did 6 on the initial charge, which was okay, but I mean it wasn't enough to break that unit. So I had no choice here but to back the General on Wing Beast out of melee and reform. I should have reformed more toward his ancients. I think I got sloppy right here, and I was going to get charged in the flank. If I would have been more careful, that wouldn't have happened. The berserkers, of course, go back into the Rhino Cav and try to get rid of them. Between both units of pikemen, now I have 6 points across the table already, and so that's in a good position. As long as I can do something about those Rhino Cav, I got to figure out a way to do it. But you see, the General on Wing Beast is now free in his next turn to engage them no matter what. Yeah, you can see I got lazy here, and I did get flank charged by the unit of ancients. I shouldn't have done it. I should have been more careful in my positioning, but it was getting late in the game, and sometimes I do lose a little bit of focus there. So John just went ahead and turned his dragon around. He's already in scoring position. All he has to do is survive, and he knows full well if he survives, then he is going to be able to destroy my General on Wing Beast. So he's in a good position right here. He's had a nice trap set and everything, and either I had to take it and think I'd get lucky or not. So my General on Wing Beast survived the Ancients charge, but the Fanatics did not survive the counter charge by the very potent Rhino Cav. Now, the issue of the Rhino Cav is they've now taken 2 rounds of fighting, so they are teetering themselves they're teetering themselves just because they've taken so much accumulated damage. So again, with the Rhino Cav teetering, I went ahead and slammed the pikeman and the General on Wing Beast into there, and I had managed to get Bane Chant on the pikeman as well. That makes them that much more effective, and was able to take it off. My other General on Wing Beast is still not dead. He's sitting there wavered, but is not dead yet, as they say. So here John could have went ahead and charged over into some of my stuff with his ceremonial guard, but why? Because if he does, he moves across the table, he will not get to 2 points. So he ends up backing up and staying safe on my side of the table and gaining 2 points for his guys. And I'm over here with my General on Wing Beast in the pikeman, and there's 2 points for my guys. So I could have charged into his dragon, but decided not to. I decided that would be a silly mistake. So I did move the General on Wing Beast over to help the other side of the table in case there was a turn 7. His dragon could do whatever it wanted, but I mean the thing is he wasn't going to come across the table either because he would lose his points. So this is going to be the last picture of the game, and since my pikemen horde have 2 tokens, the little pikeman regiment has a token that gives me 6, and he has his Lord on Fire Greg has 2, and his ceremonial guard has 2 for a 6-4 win by the Kingdoms of Men. This game actually went back and forth quite a bit. I think where I had the advantage was I did have more units, and that's what allowed me to sneak that other token through with the unit of pikemen to get across the table. And having those other units, and then I managed to take out 2 of John's units, or 2 or 3 of his chaff units early, and that also helped me out. So now I had more maneuver units than he did. Have to admit, my 3 flyers, they did the job this game. It is just so hard to defend against 3 of those big guys, and any one of them is like getting hit by a regiment if they hit you in the flank. Just not something you want to deal with, and it's hard to have enough flyer defense. In this case, John had his own dragon, but I was able to neutralize it just by using my lone heroes and to try to keep it in check. At least it wasn't flying around doing anything, so that was a good thing. Probably made a mistake over here on the left flank. I shouldn't have been as aggressive going after his Rhino Cav. I mean, honestly, they had no effect on the game. They weren't carrying a token or anything else, and staying there in the woods would have probably been better, and letting him charge me would have probably been the best solution. But I thought maybe I could bust through on that side and then turn against his ceremonial guard, but that did not happen. Rhino Cavalry, to me, is one of just the best units in the Salamander army. I just think that they are a superior unit. I mean, I don't think I would ever leave home without them. I know people swear by tyrants, but I think the Rhino Cav is every bit as good as the tyrants. With their hit, they hit well. They got crush, decent morale. I mean, there's really no downside to Rhino Cav except, I guess, the points. So those guys have eaten my lunch for 2 or 3 games in a row now. When I think I can take them down, then they just stand there. But end up getting them in the end, but I mean, not until they help take out a ton of points over there on the left flank. As far as my army, I really think now, with my foot guard horde, I really wish I could take another unit of pikemen, but I think they're too expensive to take a unit of pikemen that's going to be souped up enough to be useful. The pikeman with the Brew of Strength is just a rock-solid unit. I mean, it is, if it hit on 3s, it'd be the best unit in the game, but it doesn't. But with the Brew of Strength and the fact that everybody has ensnare attacking them, I take so little damage. On top of that, being able to keep the ASB with loot nearby. In this case, you can see in this particular formation, I had 3 really good units to be able to throw Banechan on. So having that in there, is a great equalizer. Even the toughest units are going to struggle against that unit of pikemen. So I think that it's a pretty good substitute. I mean, in my normal list, I have 5 regiments of pikemen and 3 troops of fanatics. And at 2,000 points, I just have to make the compromise. So I kind of combined the idea of my second. I usually have 2 hordes of foot guard, and so I just basically combined the pikemen to kind of make a unit of foot guard out of them. And they're kind of a dual role unit because they're very hard to take down and they can dish out a significant amount of damage per turn, especially if they have Banechant nearby. So anyway, as far as John's army, I think almost if he would I almost think he needs to get rid of his dragon. I mean, it's just it's so easy to stop one dragon in most cases. That's always seemed like there's a problem with flyers. Is if you have 1 of them or 2 of them, whoever has the most is going to keep the other guy's flyers down. And in this case, my army has superior anti-flyer tactics. I mean, I've got 3 units that fly. I've got the 2 individual guys that can run around and ground them. So I mean, I'm in really good shape when it comes to beating down on flyers. And his dragon did good. He was able to capture things, but I mean, he wasn't able to really go on the offensive with that dragon all that well. He couldn't get behind my lines to do things because I would stop him before he got there. But but it's a lot of points on his side. And I told him, actually, I said, if I was going to play with it, I would make it even more costly and throw Brew of Sharpness on it so that it could just shred whole units every turn. So it's up to him to let him change things. But I think I would rather have something else than the Lord on Fire. The rest of the list is fine. Matter of fact, the rest of the list is exactly what I would run. So I just think that guy needs to be broke up and to give him, maybe an extra drop or two, and a couple of ways. For anti-flyers, just maybe some lone heroes on lizards to help. For flyer defense would have been a better choice this game, I think. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the battle report. This game was very tactical. John and I were both sweating it at the end of it, and I managed to sneak a win by slipping that one little unit of pikemen across the middle of the table. I could not believe that he was able to slaughter my foot guard that easily, and it almost makes me either want to, like I said, it makes me want to take him as a pike horde, or I might just want to take the two-handed weapons off of him and get him back up to armor 5. And that would have been a big help, I think, during the game. So I'll have to think about it and see which ones I want to do. I've already got some nice old Games Workshop foot knights that I could use for my foot guard, and they are the same color and they're same basing as all of these guys. So they would be perfect for that role if I wanted to swap them out. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.